tuned to Evergreen Media Network. I am Cindy Schwartz, and this is our Veterans Voice radio show, and your host, Ralph Nathan Oko.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being with us. The weather, well, if you're going to run errands, do them in the morning, because it rains like the dickens every afternoon here in the Treasure Coast. So today, we're going to share military secrets with you. Shh, don't tell anybody. So I volunteered Patty McAllister, who's with us. And how's the weather up in Daytona?
Yeah.
Patty?
Hot. It is hot.
I don't know what's worse, the heat or the humidity, because that humidity just sucks you dry.
It's both.
Yeah.
It's both,
anyway,
yeah.
I really don't want to give away trade secrets because you did your espionage research. So let's search your mind and share your research and take it away with the military secrets. Patty McAllister.
All right. Everybody, get into Patty's time machine. Remember to keep your arms and legs in at all times, and please stay in your seats until we come to a complete stop. It's the 1890s, and a new invention is getting people around like never before. It's revolutionizing daily life for millions, and as one expects, military men are eyeing that invention, seeing what it does, and they're asking themselves the question, how can I use this to win wars? See, up to the 1890s, the vast majority of Americans had largely lived in 4-mile bubbles, okay? For most people, your work, your food, your church, your friends, most every daily necessity had to be within a 2-mile or so walk. Horses for personal transportation was always the exception reserved for the wealthy. But in the 1890s, a daily personal transportation technology took a giant leap forward and changed everything for the masses and would overturn the world as most knew it. One technology suddenly made it practical for an average person to have a daily commute of 10 or more miles. That technology expanded the life of the average American citizen to a 20-mile-plus radius. And that set off a social revolution few understand and appreciate today, even though we live in its wake. The military applications for increasing daily travel distance of troops, well, that is self-evident. You're thinking I'm talking about the internal combustion vehicle, aren't you? No. The Carl Benz motor wagon was a remarkable invention, to be sure, but they were expensive, unreliable, and not ready for revolutionizing day-to-day living, let alone fighting wars. Before the internal combustion vehicle was ruling roadways and battlefields, the bicycles were a global revolution in life and war.
Yay!
Long live the bicycle!
Let's go to the summer of 1897. We are at Fort Missoula, Montana.
Ooh.
There is a group of 20 infantry volunteers, 2 officers, and a 19-year-old reporter about to get on specially made bicycles to conduct a 41-day, 1,900-mile military experiment that the entire nation eagerly watched.
Wow.
The military experiment didn't intend to greatly improve perceptions of black soldiers, but all historians who've addressed the question say it most certainly did. Those Buffalo soldiers were welcomed into towns and cities as hardy servicemen changing the future of the military and warfare. The group was the 25th Infantry Regiment Bicycle Corps. Folks called them the Iron Riders. They were putting to test, yes it is, They were putting to test Medal of Honor recipient Major General Nelson A. Miles' hypothesis that the bicycle had a place and future in the U.S. military and warfare in general. He thought that since watching a 6-day endurance bicycle race in New York City in 1891.
6 years before.
And yes, as an avid cyclist, I see the humor that General Miles was proposing a bicycle infantry. Miles and more miles. We cyclists know a lot about miles. So I'm going to introduce everybody to a new word, velocipede. That is anything with one or more wheels that a human sits on and powers for momentum. Velocipedes, before the late 1880s, were impractical for commuting and travel. The word velocipede is formed by the Latin words for speed and foot, velox and pedis. The bicycle was only one form of the velocipede, and the late 1800s was a bit of a Cambrian explosion for velocipedes. All kinds of different configurations and designs were tried. But the single-user bicycle won the market. In the mid to late 1800s, all the bicycle designs that allowed riders to touch the ground with both feet were called safety bicycles.
Huh.
Numerous safety bicycle designs emerged in Europe, Australia, and North America from the 1870s to the 1880s. They all had major flaws, but militaries desperate to replace the really expensive horses were quickly giving them a try. The bicycle first appeared on battlefields in the Franco-Prussian War, which was 1870 to 1871. They were used mostly for courier and scouting roles because even flawed, those early bicycles sped up soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Italy started experimenting with military bicycles in 1878,
Wow.
and by 1884, they had bicycle-mounted light infantry units. By the late 1800s, France, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Great Britain were integrating bicycles into their infantries.
Europe.
Bicycle-mounted infantry units were common in the Boer War, which was 1899 to 1902.
Oh, wow.
But still, bedeviling problems for safety bicycles were frame configuration and the wheels and tires to reduce road-to-rider energy transference. Roads at the time were made for carriages, wagons, horses, and walking. In other words, they were pretty rough.
Yeah.
Bicycle frames have to bear riders' weight while taking a lot of stress from the road. In the 1880s, the way to accomplish that dual task was using really thick tubing, which is inefficient at attenuating shock waves. That meant safety bicycles were heavy, and the riders' asses were expected to do all the shock absorbing.
There
right?
you go. Yeah.
In 1885, British inventor John Kemp Starley resolved a lot of the frame and weight issues with the Rover safety bicycle.
Rover.
That was a multi-part diamond frame with equally sized wheels, rear wheel chain drive, and front wheel steering.
Which we have now.
Yeah, I want to
Yes.
stop you for a second, Patty. So the ones that you were originally talking about, are those the ones that had the huge wheel and then
Yes.
the little tiny one in behind
That was the penny farthing, which was one of many velocipede designs that were tried.
it? Okay.
And it was because of that the configurations that allowed you to put both feet on the ground.
Yeah.
That's why they were called safety bicycles.
And that was
Because-
the two same size wheeled bicycle.
Not all of the early safety bicycles had similarly sized wheels.
Okay, all right.
That was tried on a few designs, but it came up as a permanent design because of the Rover safety bicycle.
Okay.
And as y'all pointed out, despite many attempts to beat that iconic bicycle design, in terms of overall sales, it has never been close to being challenged in 141 years.
Really?
Although since the 1990s, mountain bikes have mostly abandoned the classic diamond frame because they have shock absorbers on both wheels.
Yeah.
And carbon fiber is making innovative frame designs much easier for road bikes.
And lighter.
And we're probably coming up on a break soon here.
Okay, but I will warn all our gentlemen listeners, whatever you do, when you see a lady on a bicycle, I kind of caution and warn you, do not whistle at her, of course, but don't say, "Hey, lady, I like your Velocipedes," because she won't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So let's take a break, everybody. Hey, I love your story, by the way. And so you know, everybody, all this emanated from a discussion that Patty and I had, a month or two ago about the use of bicycles in the military, and that led us to have the request to for Patty to do the research. And I got to tell you, how many of you did not grow up with a bicycle? I think almost all of us did. And so, story's great. We're going to take a short break. This is our Veterans Voice Radio. We'll be right back, everybody.
I'm Dr. Tim Ioannidis at Treasure Coast Dermatology. At Treasure Coast Dermatology, we believe in the prevention and early detection of skin cancer. We are medical doctors, and we focus on the medical aspects of dermatology. You don't need a sales pitch for Botox, collagen, or wrinkle creams. You need a doctor that cares about you and the health of your skin. We feel by not trying to do too much, we can do more for our patients.
Call toll-free 877-870-DERM. That's 877-870-3376.
Meet Henry Bach, patient of Florida Eye Institute.
After having the cataracts removed, it was a whole new world for me. The colors were brilliant. It was painless. You could almost say it's like being born all over again. When I come in here, it's like coming home. Everyone's so friendly and nice. It's just a wonderful experience.
Are you ready to experience truly exceptional patient care? Florida Eye Institute.
Hey, did you hear the latest about our Florida Highwomen?
No, what?
There's a Highwomen Art Gallery in Vero Beach.
Really? Where?
1872 Commerce Avenue.
Wow, when's it open?
7 days a week. Call 954-557-6226 for an appointment anytime.
No kidding?
Just call for your appointment, 954-557-6226, and then go to 1872 Commerce Avenue.
Wow, that's good news.
And we're back on our Veterans Voice Radio Show and Ralph Nathan Oko.
And we are discussing Velocipedes. I have never heard of that word before.
No.
I love it, but I'll be very cautious who and when and where I use it. Right, Patty?
So we left off in 1885, and the Rover safety bicycle is changing transportation with that multi-part diamond frame, the equally sized wheels, rear wheel chain drive, and front wheel steering. But then came the divinely inspired, glorious invention of the pneumatic tire, for which all praise goes to the most generous God Almighty. John Boyd Dunlop invented the air-filled tire for his son's tricycle in 1888. Pneumatic tires greatly improved bicycles' comfort, speed, and traction for a few reasons. This allowed riders to use bicycles for long distances, tens of miles a day for the first time. The Rover safety bicycle got pneumatic tires in 1890, and voila! The first modern bicycles hit the road and haven't left it since. So please, stop honking. In 1891, the 1st Signal Corps of the Connecticut National Guard was the first U.S. military unit to test and regularly use bicycles. But that was on a small scale and very limited duty. General Miles really thought the new generation of safety bicycles with that diamond tubing frame and pneumatic tires would revolutionize warfare by up to tripling infantry speed while reducing troop fatigue. He found just the man to help him prove it, a recent U.S. Military Academy grad. That was Lieutenant James Moss, who historians suspect might have already been a bicycle enthusiast. At the time, they were called wheelmen. Whether Moss was already a wheelman or a good study, he figured out exactly what a military bicycle needed and was doable with the tech at the time. A military bike, he figured, had to have steel rims, not wood, steel rims with tandem spokes to maximize shock absorption. A military bike also needed extra durable front forks to prevent folding and bending. And the bars had to be set up with luggage carriers so a soldier's supplies were handy while he was riding. Most importantly, a military bicycle needed one of those new Christie anatomical bicycle saddles. The Christie featured a split seat design with a recessed channel in the center. That design moves the body weight and friction heat to the rugged hip bones and glutes and away from less durable parts of the male anatomy that go by various euphemisms.
Gee, I wonder what he means.
There were some 300 bicycle manufacturers in the U.S. at the time. Yes, you heard me right. 300. That's not counting the many bicycle shops with micro-manufactured bikes. Moss started approaching them with his design specs the War Department had already approved. When he got to A.G. Spaulding and Brothers, that company quickly accepted the order and built the bikes at no cost to the Army.
Great advertising.
The company was surely patriotic, but at a time of sky-high bicycle sales, Spaulding saw the advertising potential of the Army using its bikes. In February of 1897, Spaulding's athletic library even published a cover article from Lieutenant Moss entitled Military Cycling in the Rocky Mountains. The Spaulding Military Special, as the company called the bike, weighed 32 pounds, which was quite good for a durable bike at the time. Coincidentally, after A.G. Spaulding and Brothers nailed down the military contract, the makers of the Van Cleve and St. Clair branded bicycles threw up their hands in frustrated anguish. Realizing that they'd been beat in bicycles, they turned their attention to aeronautics. Thus, the Wright Cycle Company of Dayton, Ohio, transitioned to the Wright Company and made the Wright Flyer from 1903 to 1905. But the Wright brothers never got over the bitter defeat in the military bicycle battle. Okay, that's a joke, folks. Okay. Lieutenant Moss formed the 25th Infantry Regiment Bicycle Corps in May of 1896. At first, it had 8 enlisted volunteers, all Buffalo soldiers, along with the lieutenant. One of the volunteers was Private John Findley, who'd had a job at Imperial Bicycle Works in Chicago before joining the Army, so he was the unit mechanic. At first, the 25th Volunteers did proof-of-concept experiments around Fort Missoula as their ranks grew. They used natural and created obstacles to test the bicycle's functionality and durability for military uses. They rode progressively farther trips, reaching up to 40 miles a day.
Wow.
Finally, Moss was ready for a big trip, and so they did the 275 miles to and then around Yellowstone National Park and back to the fort for a total of almost 800 miles.
Yay.
The test prepared the 25th for a 1,900-mile ride from Montana to Missoula in 1897. And on June 14 that year, 20 volunteer soldiers, 2 officers, and a young reporter took off for St. Louis. The embedded daily Missoulian reporter, Edward H. Booz, wrote dispatches that were picked up by newspapers around not just America, but around the world. Smithsonian Magazine's David Kendi wrote about this trip a few years ago. Quote, the route took the Bicycle Corps through the woodlands and deserts in 5 states, Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Missouri.
Tough states.
Yeah.
As they crossed the Continental Divide, the soldiers straddled the mountaintop and looked down the Atlantic and Pacific slopes. They had to ford swift rivers, often carrying their bicycles over their heads, and traversed railroad tracks to avoid the vicious mud that swallowed up their tires and kept them from riding. The Bicycle Corps dropped only one rider in that 1,900 miles. The soldier got ill and took a train back to Fort Missoula. At one point, Moss got ill, but he took a train ahead to a meeting spot and resumed the ride with his troops.
Good for him.
Yeah.
They got to St. Louis on July 24, 1897. An estimated 1,000 local cyclists, including mounted police, were waiting for the men. They escorted the cycling Buffalo soldiers in what became an impromptu parade with cheering spectators. Reportedly, about 10,000 folks went and visited the Iron Riders when they were at their camp in the city. And Moss filed a report with the United States Army and Navy Journal, quote, the practical result of the trip shows that an Army Bicycle Corps can travel twice as fast as a cavalry or infantry under any conditions and at 1/3 the cost and effort, he wrote. By the way, the Iron Riders did the trip with 34 writing days, and they took 7 recovery, repair, and replenishment days.
Before you continue, there's one word you have not used, which is ironic, and I'm thinking maybe it's the word silent. You can hear horses' hoofs. You can hear vehicles. You can hear airplanes. But you hardly can hear a bicycle.
You're giving something away. Okay?
Oh.
Just okay. We're going to circle back to that.
Yeah, but we got the half time.
We got a minute left, yeah.
Got a minute left.
That's it.
Well, you know what? I don't want to jump into the next part until after the break.
Okay. Sorry, I jumped the gun. I didn't realize it.
You're giving it away, Ralph.
Boy, I'm a bad boy.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. The bad boy and his orchestra. We'll be right back. Our Veterans Voice Radio. Patty, you're phenomenal. You and Rodney Dangerfield should share the stage. We'll be right back, everybody.